Hi all! In last week's video we took a look back at 2025 and I thought in this week's video I would share with you my plans for 2026 based loosely on what worked in 2025 and kind of what didn't work. But first, here's a quick introduction in case you're new around here and wondering who I am. Hi there, I'm Stacy, the Encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. Encaustic literally means to burn in. So I paint with beeswax and a torch, and because it's mixed media, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Consider subscribing and joining this artsy community. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded artsy folks like yourself. Alright, so I'm going to break this video up into three different sections. Up first, art and Studio Stacy business things. Up second, the Barndominium plans, travel plans, and plans that include Matt. And then lastly, some personal plans, maybe some reading, some knitting, and any other like personal plans or goals I might have. And I thought I would do it that way, because that way if you just want to skip around to certain sections or skip over a certain section, I won't be offended. You can do that, and I will put cards or timestamps down there so that you can easily jump around or go back to something or fast forward or however you'd like to do it. I also thought I would let you know that this isn't really like a how-to or how I plan specifically. This is more just kind of a chitty-chatty video discussing possible future plans for 2026. So if you want like a how-to or how I plan video, I have a couple of those, and I'll try to remember to link them down there below in the description, or I'll put them up here somewhere so that you can go see those after you watch this if you prefer that type of style. All right, now that we got all of the logistics and housekeeping out of the way, let's just jump into the video and my plans, art plans specifically, up first for 2026. First off, I would like to continue painting the mini paintings, the art style mini paintings that I started during Vlogmas. I believe I have 4 more left to do. I cut out 12 4x4 matte pieces at the beginning when I started this series, and I have 8 done. I think so that will leave 4 left to do, obviously. So I want to continue on with those. They've been a lot of fun, and I really like seeing how they're all completely unique and different. So that is plan or goal number 1 for art. Plan or goal number 2 is to continue the larger tree painting series. The ones that I've been doing when I've been embedding the leaves and then laying the tree over top of these. I want to definitely continue that series. I've really found it enjoyable. And I have plans for the sycamore tree. I believe I have that figured out, like as far as the colors and things like that. So I'll probably do that first. And then I have a couple, what I would consider more medium-sized panels already made. And I don't know how many. I'm looking up top there because they're up top in the loft. But I don't know how many I have made, so I have to figure that out. But I definitely want to do a maple tree and an oak tree, and then I'll figure out if I have more than 2 panels left, I'll paint those. And then I also have a larger panel that I kind of had some artwork on it initially, and I've ripped that artwork off of it to redo it. And I'm thinking with that larger panel to possibly do like multiple different tree species on that one panel. Kind of just, you know, rolling that around in my head. Both of these plans, both of the little mini paintings and the tree series paintings, I both want to do in the first quarter of the year. So the first, 3 months here. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get all of that done in the first quarter. After that, I'm not really sure. And I have some ideas rolling around in my head, possibly using metal and encaustic. Not exactly sure how that's going to work out, but I have some ideas rolling around in my head. And I think probably the second half of the year, or like, you know, the last portion of the year, could be back to a lot of experimenting and maybe figuring out what the next series is going to be. So that is the painting and art plans for 2026. I'm trying to leave quite a few things open because if you know me, I change my mind a lot. All right, next up, Studio Stacy business plans. Specifically, these are going to be more like geared towards Studio Stacy and perhaps money-ish making plans, but I'm not going to get too specific into that. So anyways, first plan is to continue hosting as a harvest host. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. It's great bringing people into the studio. I wasn't sure exactly how that was going to work at first, but people have been so, I guess just, I don't know what the right word is, positive about the experience. And I love introducing people to Encaustic, perhaps people that might not have ever experienced it unless they were just traveling through the area. So it's really been bringing me a lot of joy. And of course, it's a great way to support other local small businesses, bringing people into the area, other like nature things, hiking, and you know, just so many other things that I've also been talking to these guests about, that I just really feel it's been such a positive experience, and I want to definitely continue that. All right, plan or kind of goal number 2 is art shows. And I know this was going to be a big focus for me last year in 2025, and I only ended up doing 1 art show, and that was somewhat on purpose. And I don't want to get too much into politics on this channel, but a lot of things happened last year with the world, and I understand people were kind of more reserved about spending their money on perhaps things that were not necessities. And I completely understand that. So, but this year I'm hoping, fingers crossed, maybe things are changing a bit. I don't know. I'm going to find out. I've decided just to try to take the leap and try it out, unless something unforeseen, you know, comes along, and you just never know. But my plan is to do more art shows this year. I'm specifically going to try out a couple spring shows, and I need to get these applications in because they are due the beginning of this year and just within the next couple weeks here. So I have to get these applications filled out and in, and hopefully I'll be accepted. We'll see. And then after that, I'm thinking about trying a couple spring art shows, see how they go, and then decide if I'm going to pursue some fall art shows. But I'm hoping to do maybe 3, maybe 4. 4 would be a lot. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that's goal number 2 for Studio Stacy, art shows. All right, number 3 for Studio Stacy, social media. I want to definitely continue to do YouTube videos. I really like creating and making these long format videos. I also really enjoy watching YouTube videos. I watch various YouTubers, some travel, some artsy, some knitting and crochet ones, some lifestyle ones, and it's actually my favorite kind of content to consume. So I'm going to continue to making YouTube videos. Question for you. Would you be interested in more of a vlog, kind of behind the scenes of life, kind of some of those videos, along with, of course, the art videos? I'm debating about perhaps doing a more vlog style video from time to time with some art mixed in, or maybe even debating doing 2 videos a week, kind of like what I was doing for Vlogmas. Let me know down there below in the comments if you're interested in that, and also let me know if you're not interested in that, if you're just here strictly for the art and you prefer not any glimpse into, you know, life stuff. So anyways, let me know. I'm probably going to continue to stay away from or stay off of the other social media platforms, although from time to time I do debate getting back on Instagram, just showing some life updates there from time to time and some studio updates, but for now I'm just going to concentrate on YouTube. And that brings me to number 4 goal for Studio Stacy, and that is my newsletter. I had planned last year on sending out a newsletter at least once a month, which I did pretty good at that until summer hit. And we kind of got a little bit more busy with travel plans. And also, I just wasn't feeling super inspired. I was feeling a little, I don't know if pressure is the right word, a little uncertainty perhaps, about sending this kind of quote-unquote upbeat newsletter. And again, not to get into the politics of things, but the world just seemed to be in a lot of unrest and a lot of sadness going on. And I don't know, I just didn't feel like sending a newsletter to somebody's email was the right thing to do at the time. And since then, I haven't sent a newsletter out. So I kind of accidentally took a break, not meaning to, but it just kind of happened. So in 2026, I definitely want to get back into sending newsletters out. I enjoy when a newsletter comes across my email, especially if it's from like an artsy friend or somebody like that. And I don't mind that it's upbeat. It's kind of nice to have an upbeat email coming into your inbox reminding you that there's still good out there. So I'm getting back to that. So if you're not a newsletter subscriber and want to consider subscribing, I'll try to remember to stick a link down there below, and you can get, and it's basically once a month I send out kind of a behind the scenes, what's been going on, what's been happening. And also if I happen to have any sales or any new series releases, those newsletter subscribers get kind of first dibs on all of that stuff. So if you're interested, I'll stick that link down below in the description. So that was number 4, getting back to sending out a monthly newsletters. And the last kind of goal or plan for 2026 for the business end of things is I am debating, and again, I need your help on this. When you search something, do you go to Pinterest to look things up? Is that not a thing anymore? I don't know. But I used to write more blog posts, and also, are you interested in blog posts? So I'm debating whether to get back into writing some blog posts, not a lot, but just maybe like once a month write a blog post and post then to Pinterest. And with the hopes of it kind of, that post in Pinterest driving traffic to the website. But I don't know if that's, worth putting time into or not. I might just experiment with that. And that'll probably be a second quarter or third quarter type of thing. I have a lot going on this first quarter, it seems. Cramming everything into the beginning of the year. But, you get excited about these plans and you just want to go with all of the stuff. At least that's how my personality works. And then I get bored with it and drop it all off. Anyways, my thought is maybe Pinterest and blog posts, but let me know, do you guys search on Pinterest still? I know a lot of people do, but I don't know. Is it a thing? Anyways. Yeah, so that is it for the goals and plans for Studio Stacy as of right now. All right, so breaking away from all things business and diving into Barndominium projects and travel plans. In the Barndominium, we have one wall that is still incomplete. There's still spray foam, exposed. And that is pretty much all on me. We want to do a mural up there. And I may have even talked about this at the beginning of 2025 about this plan. But we want to do a mural up there. And I've been kind of, I don't know why, but dragging my feet on creating this sketch and things like that of this mural. So my plan is to get going on that. I am hoping to also maybe squeeze that in at the beginning of this year and at least hopefully have that kind of sketched out and done by springtime. Because when we move the bubble out of the barn, we have access to that wall. Right now, the camper's in there, the bubble's in there. We don't have access to it, so we're not going to be doing it anytime, in the next several months while it's still chilly out. But once we move the camper out, we'll have access to that, and I would love to get that done either in the spring or the summer. So I need to personally stop dragging my feet and start sketching out some ideas for this mural so that we can then transfer it up onto the wall. So that is plan number 1 for the Barndominium. Plan number 2 for the Barndominium has to do with the outside of the Barndominium. Last year you saw us move a post around so that we could get the awning out in our camper when the camper is parked behind the Barndominium. We also want to put a patio back there, just a place to kind of like grill out, chill out, have some chairs set up, maybe like a dining table, patio table set up out there, so that if we have friends or family over during the warmer months, we have a place to eat. Because if you know, in the Barndominium, we just have a small island. Room for 2 of us, which works out great for Matt and I. But, sometimes you want to have some people over and they want to have a meal, not balancing a plate on their lap. So that, and plus Matt and I think we'd really enjoy having a patio out there. I would personally love to get it done in the springtime, and I know Matt's excited about starting the project because we're going to be renting some large equipment to move some dirt around. So that is plan number 2, patio, and stay tuned. It hopefully will happen in the spring and hopefully be some exciting dirt work and large equipment videos. All right, last thing for the Barndominium, and that is I would really, really, really like to have a garden. I would like to be even more sustainable here, even more off-grid, and I would love to grow our own produce. Not anything huge. We're not planning on like stockpiling a bunch of vegetables or having like a huge cornfield or anything like that, but just some things that would get us through the summer months and into the fall, and perhaps a few things to put in the freezer. I don't know. It's a idea that I've had since we've moved down here. We have a spot somewhat picked out for it, but because of all the deer and wildlife that run around in the area, we need to put a fence in. So I don't know if we're gonna get this done before growing season starts here, because we have to put this fence in, or if we're just gonna kind of at least get the fence put in this year. That is really what I would like to do, at least get the fence put in, so that then next year when spring comes around, we can be just up and running and planting a garden. We'll see how that goes here in 2026, but stay tuned, we'll keep you posted. All right, moving on to travel plans. We are very excited to continue to travel this year. We love this West Virginia area, and I feel like we've only kind of started scratching the surface of it. There's so many places that we can still go see, and it's so absolutely gorgeous. Plus we love taking the bubble and camping, kind of having our own little space still, but getting out and exploring this beautiful, beautiful state. And maybe even kind of expanding out to some other states within, within like a weekend kind of travel. So we don't want to go too far, just because the logistics of having to take a bunch of time off work and things like that. But if any of you have any places on your list or places that you've been, like must-see places that are either in West Virginia or around the surrounding states of West Virginia, please let me know down there below in the comments. I am constantly making a list on my phone and saving different Instagram posts, and we just have a running list going, and I would be happy to add to that list. All right, if you have made it this far, you have made it to the last section, and that is personal goals of mine and personal plans. So up first, kind of, I don't know, maybe an easier one, but because we're situated in the Barndominium and have been for probably about 2 years now, I feel like I'm not getting outside as much as when we were first moved down here, because we were living in the camper. So it's kind of, forcing you to go outside, living in a small space. And of course we were doing a lot of projects around the property and things like that. So my idea this year, to encourage me to get out, take a break from editing and long computer days, business days, my plan is to find a spot on our property, the same spot, around the same time every day, and take a photo. So that then at the end of the year, and of course this isn't going to happen when we're traveling or when we're at an art show or things like that. But my plan is, if we're here on our property and I'm here, my plan is to go to the same spot around the same time every day and take a photo. And then at the end of the year, you kind of have like a glimpse into how nature changes even on the slightest tiny bit throughout the year and each and every day. So I thought that would be interesting to do, and it's going to get me outside more. So that is goal number 1. All right, let's talk about knitting and my knitting plans. So I kind of dropped off of knitting socks. My goal initially was to make a pair of socks every month, and I dropped off of that plan probably 3 months ago, maybe even 4 months ago. And I did that because I started knitting garments and sweaters, and there's only so much time in the day for knitting. Unfortunately, I would like to be knitting more, but I would actually like to continue to knit some socks. Maybe not 1 pair a month because I'm such a slow knitter, but I do enjoy making them, and Matt and I wear them all of the time. Matt actually needs a few more pairs. He's going through his pairs. They're holding up, but I'm constantly washing them, which is great. I love that he's wearing them. And I would also like to possibly make a pair or 2 for a few other people I have in mind. But sock knitting is definitely on the plans. Also, I would like to knit a few more sweaters and garments. I think I knitted 3 last year, which was pretty good, but I would like to knit even more. And then the last thing is, I know I said, I can't remember when last year, but I wanted to get through my cotton yarn stash, and I made a dent, but not a big enough dent. So I want to continue to work through that. So that's kind of, hopefully was quick and concise about the knitting plans. Up next, reading plans. So last year I set the goal of reading 100 books this year, or rather, I should say listening to. I don't actually read a whole lot of books at all. I listen to a lot of them while knitting, or even here in the studio working on a painting if I don't have to be completely concentrating, or cooking dinner, or cleaning, driving around, doing errands. I'm listening to a book. But yeah, I haven't figured out how to make the time to sit down and read a book. So the plan this year is to again listen to or read 100 books. I'm gonna stick with that plan, and I think I could make it happen this year. We'll see. If you have any book recommendations, specifically audiobook recommendations, let me know down there below in the description. I'm asking a lot of you guys in this video, but if you have any, you can answer any of these questions that I have, or have any recommendations for books, I would really appreciate it. All right, last one here, last personal goal, and that is for about the past month or so, since the weather's kind of gotten colder, I've made it a habit to stop working around 3 o'clock at the latest. I would like to even stop working a little bit earlier than that. And it's been really nice. It's kind of allowed time to do any errands, any household chores that have gotten a little bit neglected throughout the week. Also has allowed me time for knitting and listening to audiobooks. So it's been really nice. And if you know me, I'm very much a morning person. I get up like at 5 o'clock pretty much every day, regardless of what time I go to bed. For some reason, my internal clock goes, time to wake up. And so by about 3 o'clock, I'm pretty much, my brain is no longer wanting to, concentrate on a task that I need to concentrate on. So yeah, I would really like to continue that habit. I've really been enjoying it, especially because we can get the fire going. It's nice and cozy over there in the Barndominium. And anyways, I would like to continue that in my schedule. All right, all, that's it. That wraps up the 2026 plans and goals. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on and on and on. To wrap this up, I would like to know, do you have any 2026 plans? Have you carried any goals or plans over from 2025? And if so, what are they? I'd like to know. Thank you guys so very, very, very much for coming along. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. More art videos, more travel videos, more Barndominium videos are coming your way very shortly. All right, thanks again all. Bye for now.